Hey, Strauss, if this is the episode you can't forgive me for, I totally understand.
No, you're gonna need to do way worse than this. We're gonna need to watch. I'm gonna have to pick one of my bad movies next time just to bounce this out. Hi everyone, welcome to the Skeleton Crew podcast. I'm Strauss. That's Sardo.
Hey,
Samurai Cop. This episode's
we
about
watched
the movie Samurai Cop.
um,
It was a movie.
so the idea for this came from I don't remember where. I think we saw a YouTube thumbnail of it, and I'm like,
Yes,
oh,
yes, it
Samurai
was.
Cop. That movie's kind of silly and dumb, and I'm like, we should watch it. And you're like, it's on YouTube, and I'm like, cool. Um, this was a bad movie.
Oh,
I'm gonna. Oh, we're not gonna do the thing, I don't think, where we kind of like do a more detailed breakdown of the plot because 60%
honestly, this movie's plot is really short.
60% of this movie was just guys shooting at each other in completely different areas and it being pieced together to kind of look like a gunfight.
Yeah, so Samurai Cop is one of those classic, like, really bad movies
hmm
that isn't very good. And
It's in terms of like
it's not.
in terms of movies that are like, good, bad, or bad, bad, this is a bad, bad.
Oh yeah, no, what makes this movie interesting to watch is that it could only have been made. When did this movie get released?
This movie was released, let's see, 1991.
Yeah, like it could only be released like right before the '90s became the '80s.
hmm
But couldn't be made during the '80s because it's like too stupid.
Yes.
So it's like in this very weirdly specific like moment in time that could only have happened in like the very early '90s or like
It's
the mid '90s.
a very 80s, 90s movie.
Well, like I said, very early '90s.
Yes. But the basic premise of it is they're trying to find there are these criminals doing like drug smuggling in Los Angeles, and at the head of it is this like Yakuza enforcer kind of guy who's come to America, and he's kind of the brains of the operation. And so they're like, we gotta track this guy down, and his name's Fujiyama. He's played by Cranston Komuro. And I've
Some of the
never
worst hair
met a
you'll
man
ever
named
see.
Cranston. He has a mullet.
Oh, there's so much bad hair in this movie.
Like
Just
this movie is full of bad hair, awful hair.
just the worst hair you've ever seen.
So to catch Fujiyama, we are bringing in the samurai cop, one Joe Marshall, played by Matt Hammond, who recently changed his name to Matthew Caradas. And we'll talk about him a little more because I found some interesting information on this man.
I see.
Yes, so they bring in Samurai Cop, and he has one of the local police officers kind of watching his back, Frank Washington, who is the best character in this movie, bar none.
The only person who's acting like a normal cop
The
with any
only
competency.
person, the only one who has any sort of human reactions to anything.
So we're basically the plot can be summed up is over time, like Joe and Frank threaten the bad guys. They go after him. Violence happens. More violence happens,
hmm
and that's basically what happens.
Oh, the other thing that happens is that Joe inevitably kills the guy they're trying to bring in alive.
This happens a lot.
Uh, it- Yeah, Joe either like kills a lot of people or enables a lot of people to be killed.
Just a lot of maiming. Just so much maiming.
Also, the thing that is special about Joe Marshall and why he's called Samurai Cop, he has been trained by masters in Japan in martial arts and speaks fluent Japanese.
This is
Allegedly.
allegedly. This is never really shown on film ever.
In fact, this is actually kind of defied because the several times where like Joe's talking about characters with Japanese names, she's like, "Yeah, Mr. Ohio, Mr." And it's like it's supposed to show, I think, that he's kind of like devil may care and kind of irreverent, but it's like he just comes off like an asshole. Joe sucks.
Joe does suck. Really, this entire movie is bad. It's real bad.
But Joe is, I think, one of the worst main characters I've had the privilege of seeing in a while in anything.
It's not good. Nothing about this movie is good.
So that's the main thing about Joe Marshall, but the real thing we're here for is his beautiful hair.
Okay, we need to talk about the hair in this movie for a minute because there's so many bad hairstyles on every guy in this movie. The women get off just fine with very normal looking early 90s hair that would still look
Yeah.
good today. But let's see, we had mullets, jerry curls on
Lots,
guys who aren't black.
lots of mullets. Fujiyama had a very respectable mullet.
And mustache combo.
Oh, power combination.
But yeah, this entire film can really be summed up as Jesus Christ. This movie is not good.
Also, we had Robert Z'Dar as Yamashita. And if that sounds funny, that's because Robert Z'Dar's not Japanese.
He's not. Is he the big burly guy?
Yes, he's the big guy with the wide face and just with the solid snake hairstyle.
Yeah. It's just a weird weird person.
Just built like a catcher's mitt all around.
Yep.
So, I don't even know where to begin with this. This was a movie like I feel like I want to talk a little less about like the movie itself than about okay. Here's where I got to get into my research. The 5 minutes of googling I did.
Sure.
Matthew Karedas was one of Sylvester Stallone's bodyguards,
Mm-hmm.
and he pursued acting after this. This really influenced him, and he spent time hanging out with all these famous guys, and he was unable to get any substantial roles after Samurai Cop, and in 1992, a year after this movie was filmed, he took part in an armed robbery stealing a Rembrandt painting from televangelist Gene Scott's University Cathedral in Los Angeles, the same Los Angeles this movie takes place in. Uh, the painting was found in the home of one of the stunt coordinators that worked on Samurai Cop, and Karedas was later arrested and sent to prison.
Hmm. I guess that's why there's a very large gap from 1995, where he was in an episode of Jag, to
And then Samurai Cop
2015.
Samurai Cop got a sequel.
We might have to watch that. Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance.
Deadly Vengeance.
Honestly, the fact that
And
it's just called that, it just makes me want to see it more.
it's like, what's he getting vengeance for?
I guess being arrested. Oh wow, they really brought back like the entire cast.
Oh, also the organized crime unit that Joe is fighting against here is actually just called Katana.
Yeah. I'm looking at the cast of Samurai Cop 2, and it's like, oh, there's Mark Frazier, he's back. Cranston Camaro, he's back too.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what?
look at all these. Yeah.
Well, you know what? They brought back everyone they physically could. They couldn't bring back Robert Zadar. He sadly passed away when this movie came out.
Yeah.
I kind of want to
But
watch this movie.
I would also like to watch this movie.
This is it's not good, people, but we kind of want to see it now. But anyway, point is,
Oh,
I guess what we should really say is, what is this movie even, Sardo?
um,
Other than
I
filled
don't
with
fucking
terrible
know.
well, this is a bad. Okay, actually, I want to ask you a very weird question. Have you ever seen Six String Samurai? Some kind of weird '90s samurai white dudes with katanas movies.
Oh, yeah, that was a big thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s. 16 Samurai.
No, not 60 samurai. Six String.
Oh, Six String Samurai.
Yeah.
Can't see I've seen it. Is it no how Oh, I'm Googling this. Oh no.
Oh no, it's
Oh,
it's.
oh.
I'm gonna say it's like they're very similar movies in the sense that they're white dudes with mall katanas. The difference is this is the bad one.
So Six String Samurai is good.
I mean, it's good in the goofy way. This,
Thinking he's a dangerous Buddy Holly.
exactly, which is hilarious.
I can get behind this.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like kind of a lone wolf and cub thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's not like amazing. I have it. I have it on DVD.
I I would watch this.
Yeah. See, the difference is that movie is kind of funny. This movie is just weird. Like the editing is bad. The audio mixing is bad. I think what makes this movie really interesting to see though is just that it's not good, but it's so ridiculously stupid that you can't stop watching. It's also only 90 minutes.
It's a very short watch.
It's an incredibly short watch.
I think if you speed through all the gunfights, it's like half an hour.
I remember we looked at the runtime because our watch through was via YouTube, and because it's officially uploaded, it has ads on it, which, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
But we stopped halfway through, and we're going through, it's like, it's already half over. This movie goes by fast because it's mostly just people shooting at each other around Los Angeles.
My takeaway from this is that it's a fucking shame that Mark Frazier doesn't get more hasn't gotten more roles since then
Yeah,
because
like,
he was
Mark Frazier should have been, who played Frank Washington, should have been like a bit part on like a bunch of random TV shows throughout the 90s.
he was the one part of this that was genuinely unironically enjoyable to watch the whole way through. He was good. He was funny. I loved the bit where he and Joe have to go over this big fence and Joe climbs over it, makes a big show of it, and Frank is like scooted through a gap under the fence and Joe's like, "Why'd you do that?" And Frank's like, "I'm an undercover cop." And I actually that got a giggle out of me. That was
I think the best way to put it is that he's not, he's like the type of guy that should have been like at least a bit character in like a long-running 90s TV sitcom series.
I could have seen him as a very successful comedy actor because he's got good timing and he's just funny.
Or at least like a character actor who just showed up
Yeah.
randomly in a bunch of like he should have had a career outside of like 3 movies. Cuz he's not bad.
He I
is-
really
He's by far the best actor in this movie.
And he also has one of the more badass kind of scenes where he's attacked by some of the mobsters after he's gotten out of the shower. And they take his towel and they're threatening him with a knife. And he manages to disarm the guy with the knife and get him at knife point and then get one of the guns and like takes down two dudes naked, basically.
Yeah, he's in the nude.
But I liked Frank. Mark Fraser does a good job, and he deserves more roles. So somebody get on that.
Yeah. Like, and he also is the only actor in this entire movie with any real charisma.
Oh, he has, yeah, and he has like some pretty admirable charisma, and he has an Instagram.
Oh, what's his Instagram like?
Um, I don't know. He seems like he doesn't seem like he's like embarrassed about
Oh
his
no.
career or anything.
Like I would, if I was in a movie this stupid, I would absolutely tell everyone about it with no
It's like,
misgivings of what it like. This is the type of movie where I'm like, nice.
yeah.
Like I feel like this is the type of person who understands exactly the kind of movie he's in, and I respect
He
that
really
immensely.
does.
Just
But
absolute true respect.
yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah, basically I think this is one of those examples of like there's many different kinds of bad movies. This one's incredibly watchable only because it's so ridiculously bad and never
It's
stops.
oh, it and it's cringy. It's super cringy.
Oh god, every moment in this movie is just like, wow, what? Okay, let's keep going. And then we do.
Also, I do admire that on the Wikipedia page for Samurai Cop, when it's mentioned that somebody says that Joe speaks fluent Japanese, it's in quotations.
Well, Varys, he never proves it. It's just what a odd, strange movie.
It's fascinating, and I like watching bad movies because like I have zero filmmaking experience, but the process really interests me a lot, and I like watching bad movies like this because it's kind of cool picking apart like why did this not work?
Well, I could tell you right now very easily why this didn't work.
Well, give me a few reasons why, Strauss.
The editing is incomprehensible. The pacing's wretched. There's no exposition. The film quality is all over the place. Like the actual literal quality of the film that they're using is weirdly terrible.
It is.
Like I don't know how they got it to be like this.
Like there's stuff that's ostensibly in this shot in the same scene, but it's clearly shot different points, different times, and it's like different lighting, different color.
Absolutely. Yeah, like the lighting is bad. Like whole thing is just not good. It's just not good. Like I can't I don't know how any other way to say it to people other than it ain't good. But it's so I think what makes it interesting, like legitimately, is that like this could only have been made during the early 90s. Like there's no like where things were cheap enough to make.
You could feasibly make a movie. It wouldn't be a good movie. Wouldn't be a
No, it
nice looking
wasn't.
movie, but you could make a movie.
Definitely not a good movie.
I'm reading more about the production, and I'm gonna send you the Wikipedia page for this because
Okay.
I think this is delightful.
Start reading
But
stuff off. I'm gonna also read it just to see if there's anything else I should comment on.
it talks a little bit about production.
Uh,
Let's see here. As a result of Hannon's lack of experience and director Shervin's inability to direct, all of the combat scenes were choreographed by martial arts expert Gerald Okamura or were planned out by the actors themselves, sometimes only 15 minutes before the scene in question was filmed.
oh yeah, that's
That's
another thing. A
beautiful.
lot of this movie when action things happening are like actually sped up, and you
Hmm.
can tell.
It's very obvious.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, Gerald Okamura, who was in this film
Yeah.
and was clearly one of the only people who actually seemed like they knew martial arts.
Which one's Okamura?
He was the one we saw in his underwear.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I also, can we talk about this DVD cover being nothing like the movie actually is?
Oh, it's very misleading, as you do.
Yeah.
It's yeah, just like a general police officer in uniform holding up a severed head,
Yeah.
katana in the other hand. We only
Not
get to see Joe use a katana like
twice.
twice,
Once
fleetingly.
very, very briefly. Oh, I could say this. It's made back its budget of 7,000. Yeah, oh god, this definitely feels like it was made for $7,000. It's made its money back.
But I'm I'm always curious. I think part of the reason I'm so like eager to watch these bad movies with you is because I like hearing your takes on them as somebody who's actually a film guy, somebody who's done a lot of like,
It's actually
you've
shot
done
things.
yeah, you've done a lot of the hard work of it and you know more than I do.
This is true. I can definitely say the level of competency in this film is not high. I was right to believe that the voices were dubbed after production.
Uh, the ADR was
Oh god, no. The ADR in this movie is so bad.
it was grim.
It is. I'm gonna be honest. Like, as for as bad as this movie is, I kind of love it.
Fine.
Just because it's so goofy. Like, they reuse the same firearms all the time. Like, everything. Like, this movie was made on such a shoestring budget. Like,
I can agree. Yeah.
how can I hate this? And also, I would like to thank. I was wondering why this was happening. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the YouTube version was presented to you by guess who?
Who?
Riff Tracks. Their production
God bless
company.
you, Rift Tracks.
I was wondering why Mike Nelson's name was on the thing. It's like, no, Mike put this up. It's like, no, the world must see this movie.
Well, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Rift Tracks, for making this publicly available.
Yeah, no, I'm glad because movies this silly deserve to exist in the ecosystem
Yes.
because it's not good art by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh.
It is goofy, it is dumb, it is ridiculous. But it should be allowed to be around to be goofy, dumb, and ridiculous.
And isn't it beautiful that bad art can exist in the world? That not all art has to be beautiful or magnificently done or even competent.
Yep.
I think that's, I don't know. I consider it kind of weirdly inspiring.
Yeah.
Oh, also, apparently there were a lot of people who believed that Matthew Caratus was dead for quite a period of time because he just kind of like stopped
Disappeared
doing movies for a while and then he changed his name.
because he was in prison.
But he's not dead. He's very much alive. He apparently has a family and lives in California still. So,
Made Samurai Cop 2.
yeah. So good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
But golly, I don't know. I thank you as always for kind of like humoring me on some of this stuff and like being willing to see some of these uh unusual choices.
Hey, I'm used to watching stupid bad movies. It's not that weird. I've
But
watched
Samurai Cop,
incredibly stupid movies. I've seen Pan.
oh, oh,
You know, the
uh,
weird, bad Peter Pan prequel that they made.
I remember that one.
We might have to watch that. I might make us watch that. That will be my
I
revenge.
I would be willing to check that out. Let's
I
do
think we're
that.
gonna watch Johnny Mnemonic before that.
Yes.
We need to see Dolph Lundgren.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I would say really the reason why we watched this was because we had no idea what to do, but also because like why not?
Let's see why not, you know?
Yeah, why not? Just an absolutely silly film.
Well, I'm glad we got to watch it. It was fun, and I had a good time. I Samurai Cop's not one I'd recommend to the
No.
general viewing public. Like if bad movies are really your thing, I'd say go on ahead. It's I don't like I don't even want to say it was a product of its time because it was made in the fucking 90s and it should have been doing better by then.
Well, it's one of
But
those. Here's the thing. It's one of those things where I would state that as a film, it's not bad in the sense because it's just like it's not in the product of its time way. It's just this is a movie that could only been it is a product of its time because it can only have been made at this point in time. No one else.
yes.
There's no way you could
Yes.
have gotten this movie made in like big budget Hollywood eras or anything after this like weird small time period.
You couldn't have made Samurai Cop today, and that's a good thing.
Well, like, but here's the reason why. And
Hmm.
you're gonna agree with me because like it can only been made in like a post 80s but pre like anime being big in America world.
Yes.
Because like if you could make it nowadays because they would actually bother to have a good sword fight in the movie. The samurai cop would actually use his sword more than twice
Yeah.
instead of in that one fight scene.
And oh my god, the cheap katanas.
Oh god,
The 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 mall katanas.
these were mall katanas the highest order.
Is it was white dudes with mall katanas the movie.
No, the best one was when it's Robert when Robert Sadar's character finally uses his sword in a fight, and you look at the sword itself, and it is so scuffed up and so bad looking,
It's like that is hung on some guy's wall in his living room.
and not properly, so it looks bad.
But yeah, Samurai Cop. Um, maybe watch it if you want to. Don't watch it. I don't know. I can't tell you
I
what to do. I'm
I'm
not your
gonna be
dad.
honest. I don't think this is a very good movie, and I don't think it's really worth watching. Funny though.
Very
Mostly
funny.
watch it just for Joe Marshall's terrible hair, which
Watch
is
it with some friends.
it's definitely we need to mention that his hair between scenes is a wig because apparently he got a haircut at some point.
Yeah, and they're
I
like, "Hey, we need you back to film more things." And he's like, "Shit."
I think what happened because I'm just looking at his like schedule. The next thing he's in is I think he filmed some episodes of Jag because where he plays a soldier.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation of why he cut his hair, other than he got sick and tired of maintaining it. As someone who's had long hair in the past, I get it.
Oh yeah.
Like after a while, you get sick and tired of like maintaining that length. At least at some point in time.
But the bits where it's a wig are very obvious and
Oh,
very funny.
oh, extremely obvious. Very funny though, because it's like it does not look like the same haircut at all. Like
No,
at
it's
all. Just
they plopped that just straight onto his head.
straight
Told him
on.
get out there.
Get out
do
there.
your thing.
It's just so funny because also we need to talk about his expressions real quick because goddamn,
Oh.
this man has just like the wildest expressions every scene.
Like very intense, but also kind of like no thoughts, head empty.
You know who he kind of looks like?
Who?
and it's going to sound insane, but think about it for a minute. He
Okay.
kind of has the same facial structure as Lae'zel from Baldur's Gate 3. They got the same, they like similar nose. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I might have killed my co-host. He does though. Bring up a picture of both.
I'm okay. All right, and then
All right, hold on. Look at them back to back. It's mostly the nose. It's mostly the nose. You see it?
yeah, and the cheekbones,
Exactly.
like from the nose up.
And then the angry eyes. Only difference is Joe Marshall has bigger fucking eyebrows. I would like to say I'm sorry to my co-host. I may have almost killed you.
I think you actually just witnessed somebody having psychic damage inflicted on them.
In real time, everybody.
Oh my god.
But it's true.
Oh, and he has a Twitter.
Oh, what's his Twitter like?
I don't know. I'm gonna share it with you. Okay, that is. I'm never going to be able to unsee that.
Oh, you just be happy there's no katanas in Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, Samurai Githyanki.
Oh,
Githyanki.
you need to draw that now.
Oh, I have to.
You're gonna have to draw it.
I feel obligated to now because that's too good.
No one's gonna get this, but when you see him side by side, you're like, actually,
That yeah.
you can see it. You can see
I
it.
can definitely see it. Oh.
They got them high cheekbones. He doesn't have as pronounced of a sort of like the nose.
Well, yeah.
But it's specifically not like her character model, but how she's like rendered in the art renders. That's where it's
Yeah.
like closest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Like if you just took his nose and shrunk it.
Yeah, if you shrunk his nose a little bit and pushed it up just a little bit. Hey, Mark. I mean Matthew. Mr.
Matthew.
Paredes. You could play Gith.
Do it for the inevitable live action Baldur's Gate 3 whatever.
Yeah.
I think we should get him as Lae'zel.
No, we need to get him as like one of the like Gith Yankee warriors that you have to run into at some point.
Yeah.
Just
Like one of the bad dudes.
Yeah, just have him like come in with like a katana just for no reason other than as a joke. Oh, someone put me in charge of this movie.
I will say, credit to Matthew Corredas for aging very gracefully. He is a very good looking dude. Now he looks great. In the movie he looked kind of silly. But
you know what it is? He thinned out a bit.
He did.
Like his face thinned out a bit with age in a way that like, because you know that's back when he was young and probably working out every single day.
Yes.
He doesn't tweet much, by the way. He hasn't tweeted anything in like a year.
Okay, he's got better things to do than be on Twitter. Good for him. Good for him.
Smart man.
Wise man.
Yeah. So basically, I think what we're basically saying is this movie is not good. Don't watch it. But god damn it, is it wild?
Yeah.
It's free, so the good news is you don't have to pay for it.
It costs nothing to watch this movie. Thank God.
Doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I'd leave that choice up to you.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else about this movie we want to talk about before we move
Um,
on?
I think that's about it.
Mm. Yeah, but sorry, folks. Despite being a 90-minute feature film, this movie's plot is incomprehensible.
It's
It is. This movie is horribly edited.
it's just nonsense.
You'll reach the end of it and just be like, "What did I just watch?" And that's what we did.
That's exactly how I feel.
I really do feel
So,
that way.
yeah.
Just
So speaking of Strauss,
yes.
what the hell are you watching?
Honestly, well. I know. I would like to apologize for the last Hell You're Watching because I actually was reading a new thing.
Oh.
I was what's it called? Hold on, let me look up the title of it because I've also been playing Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
Yeah.
His name's been erased, Joker.
It's a waste. And how is it so far? You told me a little bit about this,
Yeah.
but for listeners.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty solid. Like, I'm not super deep into it. I've only been playing for so long. I would say so far, I would rank it as like when it comes to Like a Dragon games, there are like there are three levels. There's okay. This is where you place like the like 4, 5, and 6 kind of go into that like and 1 go into this is good or fine. You know, the good
All right,
defined
passable.
range. Yeah, no, totally serviceable games. Have some great moments. Maybe not the best. Maybe has some stupid things happen in them. You get the bad ones, or the closest this series gets the bad, like with 3. Mostly because 3 is just not fun to play.
It's not very enjoyable.
It's sluggish, it's slow, the heat actions don't do a lot of damage, every fight takes forever. Not that it's the worst game ever, but, you know. They're better ones. And then there's the really good ones. So far, this is in the mid-tier.
Okay.
I only say that because I've only just started it, so I'm and it hasn't done anything super stupid, though it is really funny to watch Kiryu be like, I'm not Kiryu Kazuma. No, he's dead. I'm Joryu.
I'm Joryu, obviously.
And no one who knows who he is buys it for 5 seconds. By the way, did you know he actually visits Survive Bar, but Kashiwagi's not there? And I'm like, oh, I'm so mad.
Damn it.
I wanted them to be like, aren't you supposed to be dead? Aren't you?
They had the potential to do the funniest thing ever, and they didn't.
I understand why they didn't do it because then like they have to the Kiryu has to be like, wait. I just want Kashiwagi to be like, are you supposed to be dead? Aren't you? All right.
Hold on.
He's like, wait, but it just sinks below the bar. Just slowly sinking down as he realizes he's like, I got no answer for that. Got none at all. But I've also I picked up a new manga as of late. I started reading Martial Master Asumi.
I'm okay.
Which is a manga about a guy who like is a martial artist, but doesn't want to like broadcast that.
Right.
Like he's like, I just want to kind of just go about my business and do that. And he keeps getting accosted by the girl from the MMA club who's like, I know you're secretly a badass. Come on, join me. And you hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of this girl. Just because she's not. How do you think this girl looks? Now, as like
I don't know.
Just I describe it. She's part of the MMA club. She's really into it. What do you think she looks like?
Small and cute.
You're not wrong, but what if I told you she has glasses? Long, like stereotypical long hair, cute girl, and also she's kind of psychotic. Like she's obsessive and weird.
Okay.
You'd like her.
She's a little freak.
Yeah, she's a little freak.
Oh, I like that. I love a little freak.
She's a little freak.
Good for her. Well, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, I only just started reading it, and I need to keep going. But it's been good so far. The,
Well,
the
very good.
the best part is just that both of them. It's like he's like, I know you're secretly badass. You have cauliflower. I'm like, why do I know what that is? How do I know so much about martial arts stuff that I know what that means? Anything you've been doing as of late?
Uh, Other than playing an absolute shitload of Baldur's Gate 3,
You were doing that earlier.
congratulations to them for winning the thing, by the way.
Oh yeah, they won a bunch of golden joystick awards.
I'm not surprised at all. I would be more shocked if they didn't.
Yep.
Genuinely, congratulations to the team for doing so well at everything and making a game that's ruining my life one day at a time.
It's
Uh,
true.
I've also picked up, it was a recommendation from a coworker, and I've been getting a little more into like shoujo romance kind of stuff because like I've been trying to broaden my horizons. And I picked up this manga called Love's in Sight, and it's about this like former delinquent. He's like got a really like checkered past, like rough, scary looking dude, and he meets this girl who she's blind. She attends a school for kids with disabilities, and he falls head over heels in love with her. Thinks she's like adorable and awesome, and she's just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And so it's kind of their romance and them kind of like learning about each other and their day-to-day life, and it's really sweet. It's
I
really cute. She's a great main character because she's just like constantly with him. It's like, oh my God, you're so weird. Like, chill out.
I forgot one thing.
Hmm.
I forgot to mention the live action cabaret club dates in Gaiden.
Oh, that's a big thing to leave out. Elaborate.
So I did one of them, and it's so. For those who don't know, Kiryu has classically. There've been several times where you go to cabaret clubs and Yakuza games and like talk to ladies who are usually actresses, who do adult material. Nothing wrong
Yes.
with that. It's just what it is. And they're in a bunch of these, and it's usually goofy and silly. Except the one time when it's a wrestler.
And then it's even goofier and sillier.
You know, she's like, I do wrestling. It's like, and Kiryu can say, I like wrestling. I'm like, finally, a game that understands me. But like, it's so funny because usually they're like put in models to the game, but this is the first time they've done it in like live action pieces, and I'm like, this is so weird. It's so weird.
That's
It's
really strange.
it's really strange, but in like the goofy way that makes it kind of still good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's just like, damn. One of the ones that the girl I talked to liked pizza. I'm like, finally, there truly is a woman out there for me.
Just like me for real.
Just like me for real. She fucking loves pizza. She's apparently born in the U.S.
Huh.
So that's neat.
Well, I hope she
I
never wants me to deliver a pizza to her because I will do a bad job.
I forgot to mention. I know for a fact that she is from the U.S. because she has a tattoo,
Oh yeah.
which you do not see often in Japan on most women. That's more of a thing now, but not historically speaking.
Yeah. Typically it's kind of culturally taboo, especially for women.
Just in general, because usually
Yeah.
it's associated with.
With crime and I know that you can't go into a lot of like bathhouses or places like that if you've got tattoos or you have to like cover them up.
Mm,
But
just
yeah.
just a rather strange moment.
Very interesting. Well, I had no idea that was a thing in there.
Yeah, people joke that's the reason why the file size is so big because it's not that long of a game. 4K video of these ladies. I will share a photo of one of them or something. Because I remember when that
Oh, and
happened.
also
Just wild.
in
Yeah.
this game, we've talked about it before. Also, very excited that this features my grandson Homari Nishitani the third.
Yep. Um, we're gonna see what he's like. See if he lives up to the name. But in the meantime, folks, anything else you've been watching, Sardo, that you want to talk about? Any
I
news you want to discuss?
I think that's about it. I am romancing Gale right now, and I wasn't really seeing that coming, but it's just like, okay, Gale likes me. I guess we're a thing now. So, my character is dating Gale. I'm very happy for them. Yeah, I don't know. Gale's really grown on me.
Well, I'm glad to know he has.
Yes. But I think that's it otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Here's K-san, by the way.
Oh, she's cute.
No, she is. It's just really funny to be like, first time you do it, it's just live action. You're like, this is weird.
Like, huh?
Huh? I'm not used to this. Who are you people? Where am I?
Who are you, strange three-dimensional woman?
I'm not. You're not the type of polygonal woman I'm used to. I'm used to 3D, but not like this. But yeah, more on that later, and probably more on. We will have a Baldur's Gate 3 episode because I finished it this week.
Yes.
And how you're like in Act 2 now?
I am in Act 2. I just defeated Ketherick Thorm.
Oh no, never mind. You're
So,
about to enter Act 3. You're almost done with it. You're almost like to the end. You're getting there.
also, I want to ask real quick,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
why does the game keep describing Gortash as handsome? He's not handsome.
I
He's
you
just a guy.
I this is where I want to say this is not what I expected from you specifically.
He's just a dude.
I thought for sure that you would be the one person I know who'd be like, "Oh yes, hello."
I mean, he's all right, but he made Karlach sad.
That is a good point, and that is
And
that's a big deal breaker.
that Sardo disliked that.
Sardo had a -100 to approval from that. The disapproval icon came up
And it never went away.
and it never went away.
But
And that's
yeah,
a very fair assessment of a man.
but I'm making progress on that. So we will discuss that in a future episode
Probably,
soon.
yeah, probably considering how fast you've been getting through this game.
I'm
Probably in the
finally
next like few weeks.
Yeah.
Not what I expected. I thought you were gonna be way slower with it than this. Not because I think you're bad at video games, just because I thought you would be like scouring every speck of dirt for things to do.
You underestimate how much I've been playing this game.
That is also probably true.
I've been playing this game a lot. It's
Uh,
been kind of
It's,
taking up a lot of my free time.
I know. Trust me, I would know. It happened to me too. You're not the only one here who can claim that this game has devoured their life at some point.
Shout out to this game for literally taking over our lives.
And many others too. Surprisingly.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
And yeah, so be ready for the Baldur's Gate 3 super episode whenever that comes out.
Hell yeah.
We could probably talk because I have opinions.
I also have some opinions so far, and I'm sure I'll have more by the time I'm done.
There's gonna be so many opinions, Joker.
Many of them.
But yeah, I think this is a bit of a short episode, which is fine because I think we've had quite a few long episodes as of late.
Yes, we have.
Whoopsies.
But
But anyway, folks, if you want to follow us on the Patreon, you can go to Skeleton Crew Pro. We'll be having our react episode to Samurai Cop. It will be up on the Patreon for $2 a month. So
you can see what the hell we were talking about with this.
you could see just how ridiculous this actually was. You can follow Sardo at
Autopsy Garlands on Twitter, and Marquis Belial for my art account. Uncle Death with a K on Blue Sky, where I haven't posted much yet. And Uncle Death also on Twitch. On Twitch, where I stream every Monday. I draw art. Strauss is there. Come get yourself something drawn.
yeah.
I do requests.
Not only will, and that would be tonight when this episode goes live.
Yes.
If you are listening to this on a Monday, then it is definitely going to be there.
And Strauss, you can follow at Almighty Strauss across the board on Twitter, on Blue Sky, and on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Currently playing Persona 5 Strikers, but will be soon taken over by the new spin-off, Tactica.
Yes.
And if we don't finish Strikers, we'll play Tactica, then play Strikers, and then finish Strikers, and then probably that'll be when I leave for home, and then when I get back, we start the next year with Cyberpunk.
Hell
the
yeah.
Keanu Chronicles.
I love the Mean Keanu Chronicles.
Oh, you will. You will.
I will. I will.
You're gonna be there. You're now basically my eternal co-host.
Yes.
You put yourself in this position. There's no one to blame but yourself. Not that you're blaming yourself.
Oh, I am very proud of it.
Well, folks,
But until
that's an
until next
episode.
time.
We will see you all later next week when we'll talk about something different.
Mhm.
Probably something less Samurai Cop related.
Yes. I don't doubt it.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.